ago. A long time ago, my grandmother had visited Banff National Park. Did the whole trek up the mountain. Or maybe she drove it. I don't know. But she actually got to see that blue mountain in the pictures. And she actually got to breathe it in fresh gulps of air. I wonder if breathing that air too fast would have caused a brain freeze. Would the pain have been comparable to a blue slush? Or an iced rocket pop swallowed too fast? Too fast. Huh. I suppose that's how it all goes. Grandma, when she was still living, would always lament to my mother about that. About the good old days from when she was young or whatever. She would always say that everything goes too fast. And maybe she's right. But then again, what does she know? She's dead.
The bizarre circumstances of those two murders last night were strikingly similar to the 5 murders, the home in Bel Air, a few miles away, 2 days before. strikingly similar to the 5 murders, the home in Bel Air, a few miles away, 2 days
Hi. I'm your MC of the story or the event, however you want to take that. I know I'm young and that might, well, I'm shocked myself, really. I guess this is just where we are now. It was others who got us here. Generations past, going back to the so-called greatest. Our namesake, the X factor in this all, the turn of the century, and that crew gets a bad rep for all the wrong reasons. It was them too, still is. And then there's us. I'm to, well, me and everyone in their bunkers and everyone in the vaccination line. What's the difference there from the safe injection queue? We're all to what we're facing. The eviction notices, $5 loaves of bread, union busting, disaster after catastrophe, followed by state mandated injustice again and again and again. And it's all so exhausting to keep up, to keep on. I can roam around town, totally free and fast. Saws fear without jeers, but I still carry my mask. All I have to do is what the lawmen said. I can be warm, safe, and even get fed by hitting up the food bank or soup kitchen if I dare. I'm well medicated with no consequence healthcare. These luxuries be the terms of entrapment. Does it make me whiny to justify this poetic lament? Is it so bad bowing down to politicians surely heaven sent? My diet is manufactured, test tube fresh, techno-organic. If I obey my big overprotective brother, there's no need for panic. Fortressing secure, impenetrable safeguard, airspace vector, firewalls in place, virus scan software, super badass spy detector. Activist arms an abomination. Cheese off the man, ultra, hella, I'll be obedient. Pat me on the head, I'm a good little silent fella. Endearing, obeying the terms of entrapment, despite shoulder glances, exclude paranoia wherever I went. Their dictation God-given, my sacrifice deemed, gave up for Lent. Liquid display, 4K, high def, 1,000 channels or bust. Give me something more, gimme good head, your duty you must. Offer up low-fat sugar supplement junk for viewing my broadcast news. I demand my angst be instantaneous, good old-fashioned MTV Gen X podcast blues. I choose consumption, consuming choices, choosing my consumed corpse you exhume. Who minds choking on greenhouse gas emission, charcoal black and coal burnt fumes? How high are the terms of entrapment? Small scale against the skyrise, commercial dent? Is buck up and buy, or fuck up and die, the tune incumbent. If it seems like a cluster, it's only because this isn't right. And none of it is because the natural order is anything but. I cope through poetry. That's what that was. Slam tactics. TikTok eats it up and I just, the likes, attention in general. Call it an echo chamber, sure, but what else do we have? What else can we're too young, too fresh to this world. It's not supposed to be like this. Is it even really happening? I'm your MC of ceremonies or character, however you want to take that.
Tick-tock.
They call it a doomsday clock.
The ticking.
The greatest ones, maybe.
In your heart.
Perhaps they did live up to their name, but what they did, the setup, the boom to come, unconscionable, yes, but foresight was there. Our forefathers, they could see the path of the Oblivion coaster. They could see.
They could see fear.
So obvious, but the lineup fall into place. Ducks in rows, right? In cover.
And everyone's afraid.
The drills. From under their desks, they could look up and they could notice.
They were born of the trenches.
We're the same. Color-coded threat levels. The name changes, but the action, reaction. No action anymore, but fear. Omnipresent. The drills in practice. School shooters, mail order anthrax. You can't always run and hide under the bed because red is red. Color-coded the same, but they drop the call me descriptor.
Of blood.
Is red.
Left on red. I always am. The time is now 11:50 p.m. and yet you ignore me.
I don't mean to. It's just that...
Oh, youth is no excuse.
It's so much.
Not anymore.
What?
Don't ask that of me.
Then of whom?
As you said.
Them.
It was others.
Days of future past.
Isn't that what you said?
I need something else.
Less than 10 minutes remain.
Mercy.
Others.
Are you going now?
I embody the final chime.
Until then?
The death knell.
Unless I...
Oh, you won't.
Well, not without the knowledge.
This is your domain.
I stand alone.
Again, and again.
If again, then who?
Others.
Reveal yourselves.
Oh, maybe recite a poem about them.
Well, what I do... my nerves. They're bad, you see. That's what everyone at home would say. Everyone ad nauseum. When the going gets tough, the
real men pull themselves up by the bootstraps.
My pardon?
The bootstraps. Pull them up. Take yourself for the ride.
Well, if only...
Oh, it is. Always was. Stands the same.
Only if...
Same.
Only if...
Snowmelt, ice jam, heavy rainfall, principal flood, 1887, 1923, 1936, 1970, 1973, 1976, 1979, 1987, 2008, 2009, 11, 15, 17, and 22, including conditions with heavy water in the snowpack. Snowpack at River's Head, hottest spring on record.
Do you mind if I set up here? Well, free country, I guess. Ish. Oh, I'm not an anti-masker or a climate change denier.
Head of the river is the source, biblically too.
Oh, also, not an incel. Is it at top flood peak yet?
In a minute or two it will be, for 60 seconds. That's the timing.
So it peaks for a minute and drops?
Yes, but it stays high too. Repeated ice jams, flooding, sudden increase in temperature, heavy rainfall, also winds, gale and tornado, thunderstorm watches.
Right then. We are on the spectrum. How high's the water, Mama?
Elvis?
Johnny Cash?
Runoff from the snowmelt. Pressure on the ice cover. Flood workers exist for the Woolstock River since 1696.
Oh, also good for tourism, floods and harvest, two biggest events in town.
March 1902. Unusually early breakup.
Downstream movement of the ice cover due to heavy rains and warm temperatures raised water levels. 2 deaths were recorded.
Oh, good then. Cheery stuff.
Extensive damage, including washouts, inflicted for years. But it's getting faster, worse. We could see it coming. We can still see it coming.
I can do Folsom Prison Blues for you. See the train a-comin' round the bend.
No run up with the mansions in the floodplain and the rising sea level, and they fire the glyphosate doctor, so erosion, and they're paving Officer Square.
Big yellow taxi!
No soundtrack! No! Also, no. I'm not on the spectrum. I'm not afflicted. Not with that, anyway.
You from here?
Sure. Yes. No. Sure. Sort of.
Because you said anyway, not anyways. No S. So you're not from here.
80. 90 divided for the speed. And the date. Sorry, I have to concentrate here.
Oh, sure. So are you right or left-handed?
Kind of both. Or neither. Neither, really.
So you're synesthetic, like both left and right-handed.
Both-handed is ambidextrous.
I know. I'm just yanking your chain.
I get that a lot.
Because you're attractive.
No.
But you are. No offense. That's just a fact.
I know I'm supposed to say thanks, but I don't.
Don't what?
Beauty's only good for fooling people who believe in it.
Okay, then. Not attractive. I get it.
Weather conditions March of 1936 were similar to those of 1902, resulting again in an early breakup of the ice cover. But now we only have sheet ice. In February, after the thaw, when the birds die, they know from the counts.
A lot of ambidextrous people are also synesthetic. You know, that's like when you see colors with music or you feel like numbers have an attitude. Sometimes people see words and notations in the air. That's got to be pretty preoccupying.
But Rachel Carson couldn't get anyone to listen either, or Suzuki, so I don't know what I could have done differently.
Could be OCD.
I'm not seeing color. It's not OCD. I'm determining optimal jump height. No, height is imprecise. Not height, level. Jump, level. Too high and you just get swept over to the Fort Nashwauk Motel. Too low and you get chucked in the mud downriver. It's easier to survive than you think. You have to knife blade in, straight down and straight on.
Hey, anxiety attacks last 90 seconds. That's it, 90.
You have to make it fast. Fast in and fast away like you were never there.
Yeah, 90 seconds. That's why men don't get them. Short attention spans. Seriously?
Committed. I am making a commitment.
Okay, I get it. You mean it. Come back, nothing's that bad.
I'm tired of being like this and it can't get better. We gave up. We just did. For wrapped up chicken breasts and trips to all-inclusives and cheaper heat.
Yeah, but the band plays on. That's a thing. That's real, too.
Let go. Let go or be dragged.
That's Buddhist. You can't use Buddhism to jump in the river.
No, it's you. You need to let go or be dragged. There's nothing else left of me. No hope. No optimism. I'll only drag. Only straight down.
I'm not letting go.
Look, it's here. It's here now. The apex of the flood. I don't have more time. If I'm going to go now, before it gets worse, before the next pandemic, before the graves all open up and the glaciers melt.
I see feelings. I do. Colored feelings. In the air. I taste them. Grief, bile, rage, green, yellow, hopelessness, bile, and bitter rage.
Come on, please. Please just let me.
I'm never letting go.
It's the deepest I've ever seen it.
60 seconds. That's a minute. You said a minute. We agreed to a minute.
It's all right. That was it. You can let go now.
I'm never letting go.
I was really gonna do it this year.
Yeah, I know, babe.
I really was.
I know.
I can't bear it.
Oh, I know.
I can't.
I
People have their breaking points.
know.
They do. They just do.
I know.
And I can't get back from mine.
Ours. Our breaking point.
all alone.
I know, me too. We both are.
Synesthetic?
I looked it up for date night.
I was surprised by that.
Well, I figure if we're going to keep doing this, I got to mix things up. You ready?
Sure. I guess.
There's always next year. Hey, next year's just as good.
I guess.
I mean, we can't reverse climate change at this point, right? Plus, it gives me time to look some more things up.
Let's go home.
Yeah. Let's go.
My parents did. My grandparents before them. Oh, literal bootstraps. Pulled themselves up and out of the trenches. But never out of blood. Oh, no, sir. Never out of blood. The whole world was red. The deepest shade of the Crimson Cross. From blood they were born, and so they emerged, the warlords, victorious.
And upon the backs of tragedy, behold their legacy of rot.
Of rot? I think not, young woman. Huh. I think not.
Their children, the generation of excess, of consumerism.
The greatest generation gave way to an age of luxury.
Indulgence.
Convenience, unbeknownst to any era of mankind before it.
And ever since, evermore, and nevermore.
Huh. All of our progress has been all but squandered by the lazy layabouts that inherited the fruits of our labor.
To break from this.
Yes, young lady.
Are you actually serious?
Always.
Of that I know. Zero sense of humor. If a dad joke clawed its way out of the trenches and nibbled on your boots.
In my day, our musings were far more pointed. Nibbled? Can't even fathom a proper bite to the behind, huh?
My attempt at politeness, i.e. how I was raised.
A precious tiny little snowflake.
Unintentionally on the nose.
Come again?
Well, snowflakes are indeed becoming more precious, increasingly fragile, ever more little.
Also, in my day, we called our grievances flavors of the week.
It's rapid fire now, and I say that in a sternly literal sense.
It is now 11:51, a mere 9 minutes away from doomsday.
Rubbish.
They speak truth.
Wait it out.
Oh, waiting is lapsed. The ticking.
All things go. You children, you shame us all. I mean, the impatience. A single lick of most topics is all it takes, but a taste, and you are done, and on to the next.
Oh, as the earth itself shall soon be with you.
It's the pride, I tell you. Oh, not in an honest day's work, but the fruity variety tastes rainbow.
Our avocados aren't getting any more affordable.
You can't get enough. Oh, you kids. You want it all. Ingenuity, enveloped by entitlement.
That's rich. As rich as you.
And you could be too.
Explain.
Well, if you really wanted it and not just expected somebody to hand it to you. All is within reach, you know. The treetops dangle with rewards.
A bounty that cannot be bought and paid by minimum wage earnings.
But if you put your mind to it and apply yourself, well then, the audacity.
My apologies, sir.
Oh, yes. What a larf it is to insinuate that hard work is the way to get ahead in this world.
Sir, this is not at all directed at you, but okay, boomer.
Why, you tiny, ungrateful little. If ever there was a generation born with silver spoon in mouth, it is you, new American century infant. And so you have remained stalled in childhood nostalgia, stagnating in your protective bubbles, surrounded by your participation trophies. The whole industrialized world as your oyster, and yet you petition for even more. Oh, social justice warriors extraordinaire, never content with the status quo, the endless demand for ever more generous government handouts. Is there any end to your demand for a ticket to ride our coattails? All you know how to do is complain, to whine until you get your way. Unable, no, unwilling to recognize the privilege that you are steeped in. As for your elders and their predecessors before them, we boomers provided all that was necessary for success. Well, your prosperity was all but guaranteed. You only had to go for it. The sky was, no, the stratosphere, the moon, Martian views on the horizon. Oh, we assured that you were poised to zoom your way to the stars and beyond. Your story is one of comeuppance. But if you were to get what you really deserve,
A product of our environment, the one that you recklessly, with the utmost zeal, destroyed.
a bowl of gruel and endless stockings of coal. If we could give it another go.
You raised us, or if not us, our parents, our inheritance, a dying ecosystem, an unsustainable economy of materialism, late-stage capitalism run amok, a decaying corpse on display for would-be historians to highlight is a cautionary tale.
Zoomers, an insult to our name. We, the last beacons of diligence.
DC,
Still,
there must be more than this.
you are the MC. This is yours forum to command.
Oh, goody. Adequate hands we are in.
Hands that you helped to foster.
It is now 11:52.
Hello?
Scaremongering.
8 minutes till midnight.
Hello?
Left-wing socialist scaremongering.
Is anybody out there?
Reporting live from
What?
Hurricane Ida is making landfall. Expected
There is a connection attempt.
mass displacement of people at an unprecedented
Yes, I can hear you.
record-breaking rainfall has led to
Balderdash.
the lower mainland is submerged. Flood levels beyond.
Reach out.
Okay.
Sheeple.
Do you hear me? What is really happening?
Oh,
Okay.
Sheep.
Do you hear me? What is really happening?
Anyway, what did this Bradbury fellow even know about the future? Climate change? Everybody talks like he was some kind of savant with his wall televisions, his life appreciation, his book burning. You want to know what I think? You want to know what I really think? I think people have lost their touch with perspective. You know what I mean? Anyway, this makes me think of a guy I used to know. The thing about this guy, he had these small hands. I don't mean like debilitatingly small. I just mean smaller than the average man's hands. And somebody, at some point, said something to this guy in his early, vulnerable years that got him real insecure about his hands. He used to do the craziest thing. He used to hold his hands up close to his face so that they would appear bigger, to him at least. Now, the real kicker of this situation, the real knickerboxer, you might say, is that he would walk around with his hands closer to himself than the average person, but they would appear further away to everybody else. Perspective. You know what I'm saying? So, this guy is wandering around with his hands shoved up in his face, looking terrible, feeling terrible, and sure as the day is long, he's walking around, can't see where he's going. You know what happens to him? He falls into an open manhole. Dead. Open manholes. They get you every time. I mean, we're not all Ninja Turtles. Am I right? We don't all want to live in the sewers. Of course, you know that. You know that. You're a smart fellow, you. One of those Bradbury types. I could see that about you the moment I met you. Yes. You know, you're kind of small and you can't shoot a rifle, good goddamn, but you're a thinker. Speaking of which, I've been doing some thinking myself. I was sitting in here in the parking lot before the storm came in, and I was jotting down some notes, some observations. You know, I didn't write a novel, Jonesy. I'm no Bradbury, goddammit. But I got ideas. Don't we all? You want to hear them? I mean, I don't want to burden a great mind like yours with my scribbles. Okay, you talked me into it. Okay. Let me see. I mean, they're not really writing, you know, more ideas for skits or inspirations. All right, here it goes. So, there are 4 people in a car, and they're driving down the highway, and they're each taking turns picking songs, except this one guy. He keeps putting on this metal devil music, and everybody else in the car is cringing and uncomfortable. And he's just sitting there with a big smile on his face like nothing's wrong. Yeah, I probably need to work on that one. That's fair. Okay, so check this idea out. So the car's parked at a gas station, and 3 people are in it, and the 4th guy comes out with a gas station hot dog. All right, and he sits down in the car, and without saying anything to anybody, he just starts going, Yeah, that one sounds a bit strange when I say it out loud. Just one more. This one's a real gem. There's this guy, and at the end of every sentence that he has, in every conversation with anybody, he always says, I didn't say Simon Says. Fair enough. I'll flesh these out some more. Us writer types need to stay vigilant, flexible. I bet Bradbury was flexible. I bet he had some drafts he didn't want to share with anybody either. I know that Bradbury was against book burning, but I could really go for a book fire right about now. Am I right, friend? Friend? Friend?
Optimistic estimates range from a mere 60 to 80 years of reliable petroleum production. However, credible research suggests that there is under 1.5 trillion accessible barrels of oil left in conventional reserves. At current consumption rates, our supply will be depleted in approximately 47.6 years from today's date. However, population models indicate that we have yet to reach peak consumption. This means,
Oh God,
the Great Reset is inevitable, but it is not the beast that internet conspiracy theorists make it out to be.
You all require a reality check in addition to an actual paycheck attained by real work.
Our oil is almost out. What do you not understand about that?
Well, dinosaurs weren't the only show to roam the early Earth.
Everything you know will change. A flashpoint will strike you down in the most
The Arctic
undeniable
ice
of
is
the
on the melt. There are untold deposits just waiting to be tapped.
in the company of long dormant pathogens that could be potentially hundreds of times more transmissible and deadly than COVID-19.
Hundreds of times more transmissible and deadly than COVID-19. Sure, the straps on my boots are shaking. Oh, air quotations. Does the math? Means that maybe 10% of the people who contract this prehistoric phantom virus of yours will die. Oh, I'm utterly petrified with paranoia.
just stop with your Jurassic ideology. It has not aged well.
Alarmist.
The Siberian permafrost is thawing. Nearly a meter per year is moistening. There are bacteria cultures so well preserved they scantily meet the definition of fossil. The threat is probable, tangible. DNA samples from extracted cadavers have revealed potentially—
And too much peanut butter causes cancer. Oh, up next, reported peanut allergies are on the rise because parents and newborns give it too young. And their offspring, they can't swallow the sticky cream. So naturally, that means they have a biological aversion.
Your hairpins are as red as the Shenzhen mudslides, but the future is green. We have already surpassed the golden age of carbon. Gasoline is yesterday's news.
Please, I implore you, the partisanship has to cease.
Your agenda is antagonizing the everyman, the everyday everyman who simply has to navigate this world, buy his car to drive to work.
Work to pay for the car, slaves to the oil barons.
Accumulate the hours he must to put food on the table, clothes on his children's back, offerings in the tithing plate of big government.
Signal one.
It is now 11:53.
Received degree. Need an excuse? It won't come cheap. They claim they hate to say, get out, you have to pay. The oil spill, the spelling they drill into your head, you knuckle brain. Notoriety versus infamy. It is all inside of me. The lust for fame, the growing hate, the dooming fate. I wish it away. I wish sincerity. in exchange for desire shrill, activism ill. Revolutionary means are such a waste. A coup of change will not be cheap. We only want to love, without excuse, without apology. I only want to love, and I deserve it for free. Better or less perverse, how is the state of your union? Under Midas antithesis, with every touch you ruin. Another bite of the pie, one more bong hit before you can call it a day, and off you go, blind stroll through the gauntlet to sudden death. Help them economically devastate the honest left. Signal 1, receive decree. Want an excuse? Wallet open, not for free. Got a good one secondhand, off your wish list of illicit contraband. One more fuel cell for the amassment of discontent juxtaposed against slothful obedience. To surpass those balding suits and ties, evolution doesn't have to be one at a time. I'm talking big. I'm not taking shit, but who would lead a march of Vex? What we need, the comic book gene. You know the one, mark this palm, mark this word, cut out absurd so we can see the ascending step. A love deserved, an angel star. Don't let them say you've gone too far.
What in sweet baby Jesus' name was that?
It is now 11:53 and 30 seconds until 11:54.
It's ticking away.
Again, what was that?
Again, and
Oh, tick, tick, tick. That is the
It's just in the
sound.
continent of Australia is on fire. Have you heard?
The continent, yes, as in
the whole continent.
Hyperbole.
Well, if what they say.
Walls of fire closing in, ravaging the southeastern brush. They dug out trenches, try and keep it at bay, keep it back. The rage is eternal, as if a storm of solar flares exploded on the Earth's crust. Eruption from the bowels of Hades, dissection of the planetary surface, snapping, cracking, popping.
The melodrama.
A scaled down extinction level event.
Will get us to the finish line.
In a matter of months, the blaze is forecast to pump into the atmosphere as much as 3 times the country's yearly CO2 output. Neighboring Indonesian islands will be blanketed in a snowfall of toxic ash. Across the ocean, air quality will be impacted in South America. Countless lives will be lost, but the human cost cannot be weighed against the dozens of mammalian, insect, fowl, and plant varieties whose species will be forever extinguished. In the aftermath, thick clouds will slowly exhale their black fuel, releasing stray carbon fibers that will waft about the seas, fertilizing the waters, spawning widespread proliferation of microscopic marine algae that will choke out native life.
Control.
Familiar with the myths of the ancients?
Here, I'll allow everything.
Apocalypse interpretations?
A learning moment.
About flame-spewing mountains.
We are living through the worst.
Oh, you misunderstand my snark.
I think I have a handle.
I reference the volcanic.
A false equivalent.
Is it though?
Natural phenomenon versus engineered emergency.
Oh, but the results.
Comparable, yes, but categorically, a disparity as deep as the Marian Trench.
Loss alive, human and otherwise, cataclysmic impact on worldwide air quality, and weather patterns.
You're constructing what?
Need I go on?
The damage immeasurable, but one is man-made, altogether preventable.
We didn't start the fire.
We didn't directly light it, but climate change brewed a perfect storm, a domino effect of drought, dried out forests, burgeoning deserts. Skip a stone across a lake. You could summon forth a spark.
Oh, a new hope. The spark to light your radicalism.
Facts.
A manufactured revolution.
Causal chain. Call it as it is.
You? Part of the legion who demonize us, take our power by besmirching our name, or use it against your imaginary foe as an insult? Oh yeah, I think I would very much like to call it.
You refer to the kettle.
As I see it.
The calcine pot.
Your precious twit turned on its head. Oh, no, what's the term? The one that offends you? The way you fancy our very name injures us?
The front-facing scenario will soon change to be years of future past.
Oh, you libtard.
Years of future past.
Oh, intervention!
Libtard.
Oh, intervention!
Please don't think me callous. She simply is. And there's nothing you or I can do about it. Since Grandma's time, our world has fallen into new order. And all that is left of the old are pictures and polar ice melt. Still, something special remains in the ephemera of it all. When I look at these images, I can see my grandmother on the slopes, wrestling a yeti, scooping up water with her bare hands in the eye of the frozen beast. And after all that fighting and foraging, I can see her cooling her feet, swirling a languid finger in the electric blue pool. In these images, she's fearless. She's powerful. She's beautiful. She's life itself.
The time is now 11:54.
Help?
Alone you stand.
Guidance?
Oh, choose event over story.
Be the MC.
It's up to you.
I didn't volunteer.
We didn't ask you.
Well, so I should just...
Reboot.
Always ISO this, ISO that.
Rebound!
Buzzwords.
Isostatic rebound!
Control. Orders.
MC.
The fault falls on their shoulders.
How so?
Well, every generation has its moment. Their trial by fire, if you will.
Literal fires.
Fortitude.
Those of your eon fabricated the climate crisis.
Faux science.
For the sake of argument, climate change is palpable. What Plato could you possibly argue?
Devil's advocate.
If the shoe fits.
Reduce your individual carbon footprint.
Time slows.
For a solution?
Oh, time will tell. It always does.
Accountability is the answer.
But I am left to ask if...
Contain, MC. Do not engage. The concept of the personalized cabin flick was nothing more than a cockamamie scheme cooked up by marketing executives by a board of industry's most prolific polluters.
It all starts at home, and family values are sort of fleeting.
Strength in numbers. Together, solutions are found. The overlords wield division, pit us against one another, point fingers at colleagues, friends, and family for not doing their part. Anything to divert attention.
Are you... no, scrub that.
Bootlicker BB should come clean with us.
You would do well to know your place beneath those boots.
Is that a threat?
Oh, what of carbon capture tech?
In theory?
Average cost chiming in at $58.30 US per metric ton. Any iota of significance would be somewhere north of $500 billion.
Cece?
Inflation accounted for.
Powerless.
Think bigger.
Veganism.
Loathing the rainforest. Well, a healthy alternative to animal cruelty. Frame cattle ranchers as rooftop gardeners in comparison to the efficacy of New Age chefs clear-cutting the old growth. If starting tomorrow, humankind en masse were to adopt a fruitarian diet, sustainability would be speedily redefined.
Complacency.
MC, into apathy, you cannot stray.
Airness in his assessment?
Not exactly, but goodwill would feed our collective consciousness.
Hippie.
Corporate shill.
Welfare case.
Moderation.
Boomer removers too kosher for you.
Socialist scum.
Moderation.
What's the fox say? Yeah, brainwash.
This is consumption.
Culture wars rampage.
Yeah, whitewash.
Consumption.
Over the knee. That's where we took our turn wrong.
Tick.
The belt.
Consuming centrism.
The bootstrap.
In service of.
Ocean to ocean. Represent or reprimand. Heaven now, heathen bow. Our God is one hell of a man.
Oh, lovely day. You've set her off again.
Aligned in the east. Atlantica ebbs away, Euro assholes. Free trade agreement upheld by what's up your flagpoles. Pacifism aggressive pass over Asian influence Pacific Rim. Californification will castrate voyeur cut limb from limb. Dab, soak, rinse, sterilize your home. Ignore buzz, whisper, click over your phone. You will greet your neighbor with smile and pleasant tone. We promise a peaceful, no fly, no burqa wearing, freedom loving zone. Homogeneous heartland is the goal for our homeland. Swear allegiance, no freelance. You must be a baseball fan. Genocide or deportation. Give it a chance for a generation. Safety color coded, security assured, care and caution. In or out, checkpoint 1 through 12, list cross off with an X. Annoying, yes, but in our interest. Works old, oil-rich Mr. Tex. You will honor thy dad and thy mom. Listen on Sunday, listen to sermon and succumb. Non-negotiable number, brand upon brain until all but numb. On our glorious golden streets, you will find not a single homeless bum. Optic identity offer up for retin-A scam. Insert cash card imprint on cold, callous hand. Entertainment exports against anti-intellectualism imports. Sober or what? Slob? So what? Shop, never stop unless for sports. Unified and awesome, Mother America, one united state. All is well, all is great. Don't fret or regret. Up to us is your fate. The red, white, and blue runs gray. Maple leaves wither and decay. You will have a sterile wholesome stay in our tourist-friendly Fortress NA.
And it's said that I'm
But our bearings, we
Tick.
Hello?
Tick.
Apologies, I...
Tick.
Hey!
That is the sound
madness.
of your time running
I hear there's
out.
okay, I guess, but
the breaking news.
do you see, I believe
Mud
it.
slides.
listen, I'm just trying to
Central
get
China's
in-
Zhaoku country, Gansu province. Preceding decades of clear cutting, omitting clarity, the fortitude of the watershed to absorb rainfall was compromised. As a result, the identifiable death toll stands north of 1,500 souls, the fiercest floods on record.
The anxiety,
Yeah, trying to get in here.
stress levels peaking.
No. Please, spare us from yet another poetic ramble.
The time is now
Well,
11:55.
So, hello?
5 minutes remain.
Closed circuit.
Oh, TV.
Picking up.
You speak for the TV, right?
Who's there?
Oh, it's just me. And I speak some TV.
Who is just me?
And now the news. Don't touch that dial.
CCTV reporting.
No, that's all. Just simple old.
Show up.
Oh, incoming.
No, that's all. It's just simple old.
Show up.
My father passed out once when he was driving. I can't remember. I think he owned an Explorer. Can't remember. Anyways, the thing went off the highway and rolled a whole bunch of times. My nephew was in the passenger seat beside him. My dad can't remember what happened. If he fell asleep or if the vehicle hit some ice. He's got a memory gap where that information should be. He goes back in his mind, and when he gets to that part, there's just nothing there. So he doesn't know what happened. Just that the Explorer went off the highway at a good velocity and it rolled a bunch of times into a thicket of trees. But he was okay afterwards. My nephew was fine. I think my father, he had a couple of small cuts on one of his hands from the glass of the windshield that busted, but that's it. The Explorer was totaled. But he was covered by the insurance. My nephew was fine. He was only 19 at the time. My dad's in his 70s.
I never had any plans to have kids myself. Originally. Not when I first met Kelly, anyways. I don't think she even ever really wanted kids. But kids happen to us. We have them now. We have two of them now. 5 and a 7-year-old. Magnus and Rebekah. And we love our kids, obviously. We're human. But I used to own this old Camry, and Kelly, she had a. Some kind of Nissan, but we traded them both in for the SUV. we got an SUV with the complete package. The extra length for the extra space inside, and the monitors so the kids can watch Disney Plus in the back seat while we're driving them around, just to settle them the fuck down. But it's so big. It looks so big. The SUV. It looks like a monster. Like a tiny fucking monster. So I know. I feel a bit self-conscious parking the thing anywhere in public. Because I know it's big. And people keep keying it, you know, dragging their keys into the paint on the doors and the sides. And when people do that, you got to take it into the shop to get it touched up, fix the damage, get rid of the key lines, the jagged white silver streaks, these marks of other people's hatred, and ire. We live in this town that was founded by draft dodgers from America. So lots of, what do you call them? Organic types always hanging around. And it's always these crazies that are against global warming or something, carbon emissions, something like that. It's always them. I know it's those types of people that are keying my SUV. They see an SUV and they think some rich guy doesn't give a fuck, or that I'm stupid, that I'm uninformed. They've never met me. They've never seen my face, looked into my eyes. Maybe I'm not the most self-conscious, I don't know, self-aware guy out there. I didn't intend to have kids, but we had them. I just keep thinking about my dad and his car going off the road. There's this thing that in my heart that happens. Okay? I think about my dad going off the road, and then I think about my kids. And then this thing in my heart triggers, and I'm suddenly like, fuck everything else. You know, I don't give a fuck about you or anyone, or the world, the environment, academia, climate change, none of it. My heart goes off. And I buy an SUV. Regardless of all the stuff I know, deep down I know is happening. But that stuff that is happening, I mean, look, did you ever vote? Did you ever feel like it mattered? Every time I vote, and every time I vote for someone and they get elected, they end up so disappointing. Even if the party I voted for gets in, nothing ever really seems to get better. These things people scream at you that you're supposed to do as a human. Vote. Don't idle your car. Recycle. Only have one kid, not two. Don't shop at the Gap. Even if you do, try to do all these things you're supposed to do, nothing really ever seems to get better. It doesn't help you in any way. Or my family, it doesn't protect them. When the shit hits the fan, when the shit goes off-road and starts rolling. Not like an SUV protects them. The reinforced metal frame is what my heart tells me. So fuck the academics and whatever they come up with. Fuck the scientists and fuck the Honeyman on late night TV. If anybody wants to key my SUV again, I can take it. I can take it. I can.
Hi.
Oncoming.
I saw a Facebook ad for this.
Announce thyself.
There ain't nobody.
Hey now, you don't even know my pronouns.
Judging by that assertion, I believe I know all I require to assume the typical archetype.
I see you.
And we see you.
You are seen, and you are valid.
Audible, eye roll.
That's just great because it felt like, I don't know, I just kind of waltzed into something.
Cesspool comes to mind.
Is that some kind of new novelty pool?
Heavens.
Like those reflecting ones or the endless ones?
Yeah, akin more so to the flood prone type.
Something in the coastal communities, right? About how the ocean heights are on the rise because of the polar ice and the melting ozone layer and all that stuff?
Yeah, only
welcome.
Gosh.
Salutations.
Oh, this ought to be a thing.
I just tell the truth, I don't really know much about why I'm here. But I felt like maybe
the journey is the destination. The importance to be later determined hinges solely the how your path led you to here.
It's how I said it, actually. Sponsored ad. Actually, I was sort of chewing the shit with my great uncle about the whole CERB thing and how the cost of living is getting out of hand. And next thing I know, pull out my phone and I think they
enlightened.
Quiet you.
Now look, all I'm saying is that
by all means.
Back at you.
Grace?
If you say so.
An audience is granted.
Say what?
They mean you can
yeah, proceed.
Oh, all right. I mean, I figured as much with you brainy types. I mean, you're smart enough to do the maths up. I mean, I think at least I think it's the maths. It's always the maths with you guys, right?
Alas.
Yeah, some of us, not so much.
Shade noses.
So I don't exactly know how to go about any of this, but
as certain a start as any.
Oh, I get you. Right. Different language, but the silly bells are all the same, right?
Silly bills?
Bills paid by their due date was upon a time an indication of a man's character.
Huh?
Discount their commentary from the record.
Agreed.
Contempt of conference.
You guys all talk really funny.
In essence, they're nothing short of a big baby.
Man-child being the Urban Dictionary term.
Picking my tongue right there. That great uncle I mentioned, he's one of them boomers. Real gem to have around the holiday table, if you know what I mean.
Seeing red now.
From trenches to skies, no doubt.
Oh, newcomer. What brought you? Your title? Background?
Rightio, then. All right, we'll get down to business. I get that. I appreciate that. So yeah, me and the family were having a late lunch, early supper get together, lupper, if you will, I suppose. And when we get together like that, of course, there's topics that you probably don't want to touch in my bunch, especially if that great uncle is there, right? Basically that guy in the other window. Anyway, it's the stuff you'd guess that you shouldn't talk about, like matters of the church. Don't want to talk about that. Politic parties like sports teams, Don't want to talk about that. Actually, don't talk about sports either. Oh, except if you're a Senators fan. Oh, and these days, the real buzz is whether you're rolling up your sleeve to get the big old jab. In particular, though, I was smart enough to bring up the tar sands. Yep, that didn't go over well. So I yanked out my phone to ease the tension, right? And the next thing I know, okay, there's this pop-up for this thing. Now, okay, I've got my theories. So phones, they've got these built-in mics. Okay, I know that's not controversial. I mean, of course they've got mics, they're phones. So the mics are there. So you talk, and the mic picks it up and analyzes your words and turns it into data. And then I think they customize the commercials.
Plausible.
It is, huh?
A borderline 4chan cult.
I'm at a summit for climate change because I had climate change on my mind. So here I am.
And deeper?
That's as deep as I can go. I mean, deep as they got to drill for those last few remaining drops of dead lizard chicken mush.
Asinine.
And you...
Oh, call me AJ. Everyone does. Just average Joe, you know?
AJ.
Pronouns proudly not they or them.
Bookmarked.
Got the manly junk right where it matters. Me and him, just like the good Lord intended.
It's been a minute since the ticker refreshed. Excuse me while I...
We applaud your candidness, AJ, but there is no necessity to...
Oh, no need to thank me. I mean, I am who I am. I'm an open book.
Paint me skeptical as to how many books have been opened by who you are.
Books, magazines, lots of magazines, but I guess...
Subtle.
I guess it's mostly all on the OnlyFans now, huh? Anything you want, just swipe away.
Well...
Palm?
Hi, AJ. I'm your MC.
Face!
Of the event. Or the story.
Okay.
Yeah, so however you want to.
Pretty low tech setup you got here, huh?
Take that.
Don't you get grant money for this kind of thing?
I pray not. But of this class of charity case, little ceases to amaze.
I know I am young, and that might strike one off kilter. But I'm shocked myself.
Oh, no. Seems like your head's screwed on straight.
A breaking bulletin. The Pacific
Time is now
located in reverse.
11:56. 4 minutes until midnight.
Inches of white powder, non-traditional Hollywood fare. SoCal is frosted over. Alaska beneath a wave of warmth. The Kodiak Isle region cresting at above 20 degrees Celsius.
Oh, a blessing!
In December.
Oh, live it up. Live it out.
Halting migratory patterns of birds. Itinerary disruption. A rooster crowing. A doomsday whistle. Early end the hibernation. Arctic air hovering across the Canadian prairies. Wind chills of 50 below degrees and dropping. Everyone in their bunkers. Dubbed Ice-mageddon by local affiliates, the crystallization cannot be cracked, unlike weather records. Day after day, another for the Guinness and dropping.
Contradictory dilemmas.
Dropping.
I'll come out and say it if no one else will.
Dropping.
Which one is it?
Following.
Is it too hot or too cold?
As I said previously.
A pairing.
Oh, no, the problem though, it's got to be one or the other.
One and the other.
See, that's what the AJs of the world just plumb don't get. Hot or cold? Global warming or cooling?
Climate change.
Well, that sounds more like having your cake and eating it too.
Ice cream cake.
If a layman's explanation is what will turn this tide, then I will be your scratch.
Oh, a heated debate is on the horizon.
Okay, so it's too hot.
No, that's not what that means.
Winter warmer, anyone?
Oh, I get that one. Yeah, Granddad. I could use another cold one.
It can't be played hot and cold. Direct action. A revolution.
As if the pressure, if a release is necessary, then
A hearty laugh is more intuitive. Watch my head come off.
All due respect to our founder. Control.
Control.
try throbbing.
Listen, buddy, it's fine.
Tick,
It's
tick,
fine. We can.
tick. A tick for silence. A tick for reset. The greatest. No, that's your time. Tick, tick, tick. Running out. It is now 11:57. 3 minutes remain.
Okay, time management. Let's.
Scaremongering.
No.
It's coming.
What could, in hindsight, what could?
Is it my turn to say something? Because, I don't know if I got.
But you do.
Oh, I do?
Yes. In all certitude. Of this, I know.
I guess I do have.
You were at my beseech.
If that means what I think it means.
Your commonality is what makes you special to this process.
Are you calling me common?
Pandering.
Oh, our everyman.
For themselves.
Voice of the voiceless.
Mm-hmm. So you want to hear what I think?
Solidarity.
Indifference.
It is now 11:58. 2 minutes.
Blasphemy.
Incorrect, MC. Critical mass is arising, all but unavoidable if we do not take arms now. The nearer to midnight, the clockworks of our coroner increase exponentially.
And that's what I'm actually stumped about. Okay.
2 minutes remain.
Yeah, that's the thing that's got us all scratching our noggins.
Elaborate.
The whole doomsday clock business, this countdown to some made up midnight. I mean, it's not even close to noon on my phone anyway. What's that all about? I mean, I told some folks in the other room that I'd look into it, okay? That I'd do my own.
The Council of Atomic Scientists established the construct in the 1950s. A symbolic installation attempting to track how close our kind are to self-annihilation. They source data from as many credible resources as they can.
Dread peddlers. The nervous offspring of the war dealers before them. Climate science profiteering, frightening governments into snowballing money down the hill, down the drain to their laboratories. Keep the people afraid, grow the payroll, taking money, scurrying under the sheets with big tech, big pharma, even bigger renewable energy monstrosities, taking the money, running with it, hiding it under the bed. Classic duck and cover drill for grade school broods.
Only thing under those covers, an orgy of oligarchs.
Shadow cabinet.
Rightio then. Okay. The doomsday clock. Let's get back to that. Okay. So I guess you explained the what. I mean, as in what it actually is. But what about the other what? What happens when we do hit midnight? What happens when we do hit midnight? Hit midnight.
As I'm sat here, I can still smell traces of her in these travel magazines. Smells like, pine or, like, rain or eucalyptus-scented hand cream. It smells like decades of her hands running over beloved pictures, poring over pages that she kept secretly locked away in boxes, away from oily finger and grubby hands. Not all that unlike my own. Away from people that tried to desecrate what she once knew and came to miss. I glue. Perfect. I never knew my grandmother. She passed before I was even born. But I suppose that's the same for these glaciers. You know, they became melted things that I never got the chance to know. I wonder if she would have liked me had I been born earlier. Would she have carried me up this very mountain? Or fed me rainwater pouring from her cupped hand? Would her hands have been grizzled from killing bears and chopping down pine trees? No. They would have been just soft and warm, and they would have smelled like eucalyptus hand cream.
There is a nice.
A wonderland it was.
There is a nice.
Endlessly layered. Ethereal wind chill as Christmas carols. Come a boisterous day, better for games. Wallop of what is now a dreaded word. Mounds in demand of skilled laborers. So we should dig to the center of the berg, or as far as Odin allows, for our igloo will not melt out before springtime. Minus on the Celsius was meaningless to us. Out to wade into frosty gruel to role play as God, architects of angels and arthropod men with carrot noses, hopes, dreams, forever lifespans. Winter used to be bigger, ominous, longer, holier than autumn, leaves to flakes, skating rinks, the real fall. The gift-getting countdown alone took nerves of steel, which for a kid is not a time. That's what it is about. Adults will do as cranks, humbugs, and misers did in thinly veiled fictions, novel guises for memoirs. Truth draft seeps through weather-readied plastic-sheeted windows, little plaster cracks leading to kitchen, leaky ceiling. Scrape, brush, scrape. Tap, tap, pound, faulty car heater hell, cooling, icicle drooling roof, balloon of a hydro bill, inflated with lonely lukewarm air despite the price. Shovel before sidewalk sweep, shovel again, shake, repeat. Inflame lumbar bottom, slippery step helps hasten herniation. Shiver or wet, frozen or soaked, memory immersed, wistful for when it meant magic was afoot. A daughter is mnemonic in outdoor encounters, rediscovering a loss as she scales in Everest. Attrition on outerwear, not easily dried. There are snow stains upon my heart.
There is an ice age.
There are snow stains upon my heart.
There is an ice age coming.
Snow stains
Ice age.
upon my heart.
It is coming.
And my heart of hearts.
It's near. It is almost here. It is now 11:59.
To the lords above.
Willful waste of time. I will suffer this no more.
Prepare ourselves for the Y2K revival.
Hold on to your horses. I am stepping up and stepping in.
This is barely the time for some actual
No. I have spent enough of my vacation time listening to all of you sound your trumpets from up on your high chairs. And don't you correct me. I meant high chairs because you all are talking like toddlers. Wait. You're talking like politicians.
We are anything but.
Spoken like a true millennial.
I mean it. Talking out of both sides of your mouths, loads of pretty words, but you're not really saying anything that matters anyway.
50 seconds remain.
What am I to do?
Diplomacy.
DC, your assistance at this crucial, this
The
crossroads.
X Factor, MC.
D levels ascending.
Clarity.
X marks the spot.
Certainty. I don't want knowledge. I want
the greatest. The boom. The
X.
Yes. Convince him.
You're talking about me, aren't you?
AJ, in all earnestness, the turning point. I understand.
That makes one of us.
Cece, the time to make our case.
Persuade him?
Action.
40 seconds remaining.
Choose your words wisely.
AJ, humor us. What do you know of the climate crisis?
Not much. No, a lot. Bits and pieces.
Journals. The papers, AJ. Do you read?
I read.
What do you read?
Not what you do. I'm a free thinker. I like to do my own research.
Good man.
Oh, Google, man, anything but.
No, I believe in pollution. I mean, how can't you? Anyone with open eyes can see how dirty things get. I know what we're not doing or what we're doing isn't right, but it's not that bad. I mean, couldn't change the whole planet, makeup of everything. I mean, we just need to clean up our acts, start recycling, reducing, reusing more of what we make.
The R's. R.
Old reliable is not one of them.
The R's, the Trinity.
Well, that's all good, isn't it?
Gullibility. You do believe everything that you see online. The merits of recycling are pipe dreams.
Truth.
Well, technically it's
No, but they give us the bins, right? And the fridge magnets and the schedule and
North American redeemables are shipped overseas for processing. This resource output puts the act into a negative carbon offset.
But you got to give a hoot and recycle your boot.
Oh, AJ.
Levian rhetoric.
I might not know what that means, but I'm fairly certain I should resent that remark.
I have idled off to the sideshow and allowed this circus claim to an overabundance of ground. A time for the final yank of the bootstraps. You will abide by my word.
Facts, AJ. Whatever you need, I am your scribe. I will list data.
You will stand stifled by my experience.
30 seconds and counting.
Time.
I demand moderation. A muzzle for fake news.
Oh, what high praise from the Caesar of social justice.
He deserves details. Your accuracy.
To my horror, am I canceled?
All of you.
Time. I knew. Not me. Why me? If
All of you, just shut up.
Allowed.
Thank you. Right. Now, am I getting this? The fate of the world, or whatnot, is riding on me.
Indeed.
How? And I think everyone can agree why.
It is the average, the mundane, blissful, blind, living in normalcy, the struggle.
The everyday, that's the key.
Poverty is a weapon of mass distraction.
Knowledge.
Yes. At least. Proceed, MC.
Cece, state your case. Speak
Data
clear.
showcases.
No. I think I get a say in this.
Entertained.
Okay. Let me,
Yes.
I want to hear both sides.
Absurdity.
That's my way.
A spotlight for his demographic will spawn fruitless trees.
Time is not our ally. We must submit.
20 seconds.
Hurry.
I'm all ears. Open-minded. Another body in the mud.
Cece, first strike.
Okay.
Dumb it down for me, okay? I'm a humble guy.
Combustion engines ignite gasoline. When it warms, carbon's released. These are obese particles. On some minuscule level, it is the equivalency of an oceanic oil spill, but like skyward bound.
Ixnay on the esoteric lyrics.
It's sticky stuff. The carbon molecules bind together. They're dense. Sure you can relate. They're heavy. They weigh a lot. They all get stuck in the atmosphere, the clouds. It's pollution, and they don't go away. They just float there like a big plastic sheet over the earth. Imagine if you sit in a literal greenhouse on a steaming summer day. It'll be hotter inside the greenhouse than on the outside. Got it? Yeah. Okay, that's what's happening to the whole planet. All that carbon is like a thermal blanket, capturing the heat and keeping it in. The ice caps are melting, meaning there's more water. The oceans are getting higher and warmer. As everything gets hotter, the wind and the ocean work in tandem together. They work together to create the weather. And so the weather's not acting in predictable ways. That's why there are so many natural disasters. You know, once in a century, fluke occurrences are happening yearly. Everything is out of whack.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, for sure. Yeah. You got to keep things in whack, because otherwise they'll be,
out of whack.
Yeah, that's what they'll be.
Fuck yeah, just right, out of there.
Fuck yeah, just
10 seconds.
BB.
Listen, son. These crusading bohemians, their real objective is to make everybody as angry with the powers that be as they are. Now, why all this angst, you might ask? Well, after all, they are your children, my grandchildren, leading up to the millennials, the aftermath of which, the Z's. And believe me, that need not be singular, because all they do is sleep. They wouldn't know what an honest day's work was if it molested its way up their legs and sunk its teeth deep, deep, deep into their assholes. A proper bite.
9 seconds.
Propaganda. They want you to believe that it's the end of everything, as yet another justification for their apathy. Their lack of ambition. The truth is, the Earth itself is exceptionally dynamic. Now, as much as we are its master, there are cycles which we cannot control. It warms, it cools. There are times when it has been tropical in totality. and other phases of balance, such as contemporary times. And yes, sometimes it even snaps into the unthinkable extremity of an ice age. This has been going on for as long as the Earth has been. Now, these scientists who champion the boogeyman that is climate change, what would they have said some 30,000 years ago at the outset of the last glacial epoch? Huh? For I am rather certain cavemen did not drive cars.
8 seconds.
Wow,
Wish I may.
ain't that something?
They would have you dig a trench. Not for safety in combat. They are not of that courageous pedigree. No, merely a hole in the beach. They would have you bury your head in the sand. I will better for my predecessors. I will that you emerge from this rot their so-called social justice warrior kind have bulldozed us all into.
7 seconds.
You're sounding an awful lot like my crabby great uncle.
Checkmate.
You would do well to learn.
Actually, I think what that TV box said might make a tad more sense.
Acclamation.
6 seconds.
Insolent scions.
Is that the sum of your generational criticism?
Bypass the trenches. Straight to the bunker, heads in the sand.
The death of analysis.
It was us who solved the pandemic crisis for you. TXX crash, meme stock rise, housing crisis, employment crisis, inflation, union busting, crumbling healthcare system, Black Lives Matter, all children, yada, yada. Everything. End of the world. Infinite, boundless crisis. And now climate slides across the table just as slippery as fish heads.
Long in the making was this existential impasse, predating the pandemic. Lockdown stole focus, forgot what was, what should be the main and only, still pervasive, outpervading any airborne virus, biding time until aerosol under surface, explosion imminent, restrictions lifted. We emerged, but not victorious. These problems, we took a break from them. They take no break from us.
Suspension.
Bother not. Resolution does not live here. Blame placing. It's all you know. All of our teachings you reject.
Oh, in today's forecast, Hurricane Karen with an extra side of salt.
No. If your paranoia were ever to prove valid, I hope you burn. Yeah, you and the little bits too.
Wow. See, it's stuff like that. That stuff makes for a hard sell.
5 seconds.
Until epilogue.
So how do we wrap this all up?
Drone footage from Kenya demonstrates the runaway effects of long-term drought.
The time is not now.
Tens of thousands of climate refugees driven by thirst, loss of employment, way of life, world's largest exporter of black tea, crops decimated.
4 seconds.
A potential 4 degrees increase by the year 2050 exceed.
Refresh.
Oh no, she's got a bad connection.
Kenyan officials looked to neighboring.
Fading.
3 seconds.
Oh. Well, shit. It's just you and me here, Mr. MC.
The oncoming storm.
2 seconds.
1 second.
Fix it all.
Midnight.
Second.
This is not.
Midnight.
This is not.
1 second. Midnight.
Not really. Not.
Fix it all.
Really. Really. Not really. But not really. But not really.
Retreat. Fool.
Here, look at this thing I just made with my own 2 hands. I made this with my own 2 hands. Do you like it? Do you think it looks like the real thing? Ooh, it feels like the real thing. Or perhaps it's something new. Perhaps it's a mix of the old. I'm gonna call it avant-garde and modern. A mix of vintage sentiment and the nouveau. I think I like it. This new thing I just made. It smells and it looks like love.